that? I'm doing you a favor.
If I don't get a reflection off of his hair, I can get one off your bald head.
Ouch. Ouch. So when you, I mean, it's funny because you guys are nice.
Nice flag, so that we don't see it in the back.
Oh, do you have a setting? Like an LED setting?
What's the police over the eyebrows? Jet black eyebrows.
Yeah.
Really?
So consider
It's very well.
Unless you want a little bit of flow. The bottom of the front, a little bit of flow.
Nice part of your lunch. Hey, can I have you see?
Yeah, she's not.
Oh. No idea.
No. I did that like once and like you look like an idiot.
For a big project.
Is that Dan?
That's Dan.
Dan the man. Dan. Did you send it to him?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Oh,
He's relaxed.
love it.
I thought you had another year till he retired.
It's like weekend at Bernie's.
Hey, can I take a picture of your screen?
No.
Yeah, just
Come on, pull it up.
Just before this change.
Yeah.
I'm on it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
Leggings all the way up.
Really? Yeah.
They're like, yeah, no. Nothing's.
In the morning?
What was that?
I don't understand.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
No.
Hello.
Yes, she got my breakdown. enter and exit from that door. She TBD. Yes, he'll come in from there. Yeah. No, I don't manage that. Yes.
Yeah, the light was real bad.
Are you staying or staying? I might stay a little bit. I'm gonna try to. I don't know what to do.
That one?
Pamela never talks to me.
Oh. Yeah. How about your election?
Told you. See?
Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah.
I tried last night. That's the file. Yes. Yes. She's another one. Yeah, I know, but you, but I thought you were sit over there. I hope you just when you turn, I was like, oh God. I got to read the room a little more. That's exactly what you did. You're like, okay. I expect it from Okay,
Fine.
so we'll do this and we're gonna raise your right
Oh,
hand.
over
There
just a
you go.
little bit. Thank you.
Okay, so we pose.
Proposing.
Okay,
Handshake.
handshake.
Thank you.
We'll leave the camera to it.
Wow, that's a big room.
Why did it take so long to get sworn?
Thank you guys. That would be another, that would not be my question.
This is the, look, I really like this lady. She's gonna be an excellent member of Congress. She's a great person. I just told her on the way in that she fills her father's shoes, or she's gonna try. No one can.
No one can.
He was a giant around here, served a long time, served his state very well. I served under him in the Natural Resources Committee for a while and admired the way he did the work. He was tenacious. So she has a proud family legacy, and we're delighted to have her here. She may not agree with me, but we follow the custom of the House on the timetable, and we've had a little, as we say in the Deep South, some intense fellowship about that.
Yes.
Okay, but she's here now, and I promised that we would have her the oath administered before we began legislative business, so she hasn't missed a vote, and we're delighted you're here. So anything I can do to help you, as I do all members, happy to get you acclimated and do everything. But you know more than most because your dad was here for a long
I
time.
visited.
Yes.
I never did this job, so this is brand spanking new, so
Right.
I will take the offer of help.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your message to the speaker?
I gave it during Thank you all. Thank you.
Hey, good to see you here.
I saw you from behind. I was like, is that? Yes.
That's me.
How you doing? Good job.
Okay, how are you?
Good. You hear through that, right?
Sorry?
I hear through that.
we went around the hill and we watched some of their small business owners. Goldman Sachs. And they had small business owners who were part of the big Goldman Sachs conference. And they were going around the hill soliciting, you know, their congressmen. And so we actually went up to New York. The speaker, the lead, minority leader, not Hakeem. Who am I thinking about?
That's what I was thinking.
No, not Hakeem Jeffries. The New York congressman, the Jewish guy.
Yeah. Why am I?
What? Schumer.
Schumer. I was thinking, I had his face, and I was like, why am I not?
Yeah, I don't know why I was. So I was blanking on that. So we went to Schumer's office, and these small business owners were telling him the story, and he said, "I am getting video of that." And then he gave me the key fob and said, "Go transfer this into the hard drive," right? Because he had to go back to the office. So they're still doing stuff, but he was flat out saying, "Yes, business has since COVID, and the government shut down."
Charlie, how are you?
And so
When did you start? Like a couple weeks ago?
they're getting some.
Yes. Yeah, I just stopped. All
That's frustrating.
and it like, because
Sorry.
it's fine.
Oh, yeah, you
Until
can do it right now,
yeah.
otherwise.
Like, let's
Oh,
just
no,
say,
no, I'll be
you
done.
don't cancel out, so,
Yeah, I will.
but then it got to
Or you
where,
can hang out and blend in.
you know, like,
Right here.
except
Yes,
stuff that I
fine,
shoot
right?
with my
How do you do?
like,
Yeah,
I
I think it's perfect right down here. On an angle or
Andy
straight?
shoots like a,
I think that's great.
That's
I like
great.
that.
production, you know,
Well, you
Thanks,
know,
Charlie.
a panel or
I'll be
something,
up front if you need it.
Much appreciated. Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
but as far as studios,
Yeah.
Actually, I do have one question. Do you expect to have a camera of your own?
Just mine. Just mine.
Oh, just tripod?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Great.
yeah,
Oh, wait,
it's,
I'd like
it
to
takes
like
like
a one
3
cam
people
kind of
on
thing.
one side.
Yes.
I mean, I do have.
So like, it's a small
Yeah, well, so
studio.
you're welcome to set that up.
Open it up.
But we do allow only the one staff
It's not
camera,
on
and
the
that will
wall.
just ask
They
you
got
to be
really cool video.
Thanks so much.
So
Appreciate you. Thank you.
But
Yeah.
it's not,
Mama?
Yeah.
it's just
You
really,
kidding me for Facebook, right? Love it.
but yeah, you just.
Oh, I gotta do that too.
No, that's
And
one, two.
Let me do one horizontal so I can get CHC.
It was something that they gave me a heads up. They're like, look,
You tell me. That's great. Can you do one of these two actually? It's hilarious.
It's like he's leaving this door.
that's fair. See, no, that's fair. But like,
One,
two, when you're, anyway, I don't want to.
No, I get it. No,
Two, but
Sure. Let me know if you're happy with me. Oh, no. Sure, it's fine. Of course, of course. It's on the purse, right?
So, is that good for you?
Yes.
at least 3 years.
So I'll just keep some reserve. I'm right, I'm absolutely here myself. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But as long as I have it,
that guy in the white shirt.
Who is that? Charlie Day.
So we send him.
Oh, yeah.
What show he's name? Oh, it's a Tide commercial.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, see that wall right there?
Yeah.
That's
It's not really YouTube people job or two people job.
I heard there was.
or maybe this is, that's a commercial too.
It was.
It's a
Tide
movie.
commercial. So they actually shot some of it in Landmark.
Yeah,
In my country, that's not.
before they tore it down, like right before they tore it down.
I live right next to Landmark.
Really?
Yeah, but
Time is the most.
so you familiar with that area?
Well, I live, yeah, my sister lives in Watergate Park.
We never have Oh, not at all. I can try to figure out.
Right?
Estás en la puerta sur, estás en el estado cubano.
Of the capital.
Ajá. ¿Le puedes tomar una foto, por favor? ¿Se llama Capital South o cómo se llama?
Good practice, right?
There's a duck under the camera. No, wait a minute.
Sounds good. You don't get lost. What's your number? 571.
Vale, muchas gracias, Vanessa. Ahorita te decimos.
Okay, so you just know that.
Vale, vale.
Patrick's the first person to call me from there. He called me
Oh my God.
setting up a number of CDLs. I was like, I'm good.
Other guy that shoots their interviews. I can't think of his name right now.
Which interviews? Like interviews in the studio?
What, maybe he doesn't do them anymore, but he would do the, like, I was doing the studio stuff and like the meetings and stuff, and there was another guy that did the one-on-one interviews, was a GovExec TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And, I can't remember his name, Joe, his name was Joe.
You leaving?
Yes. After I go get my backpack that I left upstairs.
Did you just put something away, or did you switch something on the router?
Yeah, I made sure I switched the spot.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Put black.
Oh, good, that'll be perfect.
Not far.
So you wanted to do a cool setup?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, jokes about him. I can't remember his name now. He's really good cameraman.
Okay, great.
Yeah, back in the day, it was really fun. It was, you know, you'd go in and, like, for an hour, I'd set the studio up, and get all the mics ready, and everything. Have an audio guy that would help with the mics.
Yeah.
It was fun. And we do satellite radio tours, and we get, like, people with Netflix specials and stuff coming in there. They do all
Yeah.
this. It was fun.
So I wonder what.
I know what happened.
The overhead has got to be
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Of the board, like business.
Some of it, I think some of it is the statutory rates. I think they like being the guys that have the buzz. Like, so it's not about me. They have the correct ones.
Yeah. I agree. That makes sense.
It's flashing like it's gonna turn on.
I literally,
They're not quick.
here's the ironic thing, is as we were talking, I just got a
Is charge, you said?
bill.com, it literally just came.
Let me see if I got one. Because I sent him a reminder on Monday.
It was two of them, and,
Oh, I got one.
yep. Yep. Isn't that crazy? And they're both like over 45 days. Isn't that weird?
Look at our money.
Yeah, it's because we're sitting here talking about it.
Isn't it?
That is so-
You wonder, though.
It's so bizarre. You're like, yeah, they owe me money. I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
That is so crazy.
Well,
Does anybody need a sound check before we get started?
Would you mind standing there for a second?
Sure.
Thank you. I want to get a focus. And sure, I'll take a little sound check. Give me a second. Go ahead.
Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Sound check, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much.
All good? I'm not sure. That's up to the speakers.
She's quite short. Okay, all right. It looks like it's been lower since we got in here. I don't remember.
Yes, yes.
Where'd you go to?
I went up to 40. It's my goal
I'm at 40.
I'm always at 48 with Canada.
I don't think you need to do it. Oh, no, you're all right.
Yeah.
Because I can look at these monitors, but that doesn't prove anything.
Did it turn on? No, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no. Because this one's different than this one. And this
Well, I
one's
stopped.
different.
Yeah, I think Jake is accurate, but I don't know.
I think Jake got a kick out of it when I said
I don't know my balance is right.
this first I was like, what? Oh, yeah, that's pretty fun.
Charlotte maybe can check.
I don't have any room to talk. I don't think I'm as wide as he is. Color-wise.
More like,
My DNA is pretty white.
Charlotte to the rescue.
It's just something I got.
there are.
This was a, I seen it earlier.
I don't know. A lot of people like this. A lot of people like it. A lot of people like this. So I know. A liberal.
Right. But no, I like this for about 2 years and I didn't end up needing Aaliyah. So like, yeah, I would say that was. It seems like it's stronger.
Yeah.
Testing. Testing 1, 2.
Yeah, she's, I get not wanting to speak. I get it. She's like a back here.
I was actually shocked she showed up at that second.
Do Republicans speak to you? They do.
No, of course.
he doesn't know anything in the process.
No, it's been the same when I talk to every, like, this couple times. But I mean, it's, yeah, so 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very hard to digest.
yeah,
Okay, but where was that? That was at 12?
it was at 12. It wasn't formally announced. You just have to, like, that the house, it was in ABC. The Democratic Action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, they usually they usually have them Tuesdays. They've been having them. Yeah, but I think also not. Because it's kind of that it's like more like press don't go into the Vermont. You wait outside, and it's like their dad was, but like it's not deadly. But she stopped to talk for a while. She did stop to talk. Yeah. She was like the most.
I've been here for like, oh, for 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like. Oh, you did? I mean, she might be here. I doubt it.
maybe not.
She's Hispanic. She's in
Okay. I don't think so. Oh, yeah, maybe.
I joke. She'll be at the vote. You can go to the vote.
Oh, yeah, that's at 7, right?
They're doing one. I think they're doing motions.
Because I've never gone.
No, because like I've only been here. Like I'm a student. I've been here since September. They have, yeah, I've been here since September. I haven't done.
Yeah, I've never gone to.
I'm probably gonna stand for
Because I told Will, no, I got you, go ahead.
agree.
You know, I'll finish up.
That's a great idea. Instead of one.
And about.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna get? Johnson walking.
Oh, okay. But I can just press
No, but it'll be stuck as him like holding up real moving numbers. No, you should have let me
That's not all day.
Oh, that's right. Did they just sign a discharge petition?
Yeah, that's why we're all here.
Okay. 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 I'm Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Today, nearly 1 million Arizonans finally regain their voice that has been illegally denied to them for far too long. 2 months of delay was not just unprecedented. It was unacceptable. I think it was illegal. The Constitution guarantees representation, and all of us in the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, including now Adelita Grijalva, will defend that. We will defend that. Adelita Grijalva swearing in 50 days after she won an election strengthens our fight for the environment, for environmental justice, for Latinos across America as they face an assault like no one has ever seen before. It strengthens working class families, affordable health care, and of course, it will bring transparency on the Epstein files. Every vote counts in America. Cada voto cuenta. Republican excuses have run dry. It's time to bring a vote on the Epstein files to the floor and stop hiding the truth to the American people. That's all they want, the truth. The American people deserve the truth. With this vote, we are closer and even will hold those in power accountable that are hiding from the American people. The era of obstructionism and secrecy ends today. And it ends with a name, Adelita Grijalva. and we will not rest until justice prevails. With that, I want to quiero presentar the Democratic Caucus Chair, Pete Aguilar.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Espaillat. It's an honor to be with my Congressional Hispanic colleagues, as well as members of the Democratic Caucus, and to welcome Adelita Grijalva to our ranks. Let's be clear. This moment should have happened 2 months ago. But Speaker Johnson and Republican leadership seem to use their special election to set a new record. The longest time a member of elect has had to wait to be sworn in. There is no justification to deny Arizonans of their representation, and Speaker Johnson literally twisted himself into knots trying to explain it. But we all know the real reason. Donald Trump and Republican leadership are hell-bent on keeping the Epstein files hidden from the American people. As Leader Jeffrey says, they're running a pedophile protection program. Today, the House Oversight Committee obtained more damning emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that raised serious questions about Donald Trump's involvement in Mr. Epstein's crimes. As recently as today, the White House was trying to switch GOP votes on the petition to continue these cover-up efforts. Now, with Representative Grijalva in Congress, we will have the votes necessary to force transparency and accountability. And importantly, Arizonans will finally have a member who is able to carry out their work to represent their interests and to be their voice in Congress. I'm proud of the work Congresswoman Grijalva has already done for her constituents while being wrongly kept out of Congress. She has gone above and beyond, and I look forward to working with her in the years to come as we lower costs, save health care, and improve the lives of the American people. With that, I'd like to now introduce a ranking member on the Small Business Committee, Nydia Velazquez.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilar, and Adriano Espaillat, Chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. Speaker Johnson has finally sworn in Adelita Grijalva, and the people of Arizona's 7th Congressional District once again have representation in Congress. For 7 weeks, the Speaker left the people of Arizona's 7th without representation, without access to constituent services, and without a voice here in Washington. It was a cynical, shameful, and unprecedented, and all because the Speaker wanted to delay the release of the Epstein files for as long as possible at the direction of his boss, Donald Trump, a 34-time convicted felon, sexual abuser, and longtime friend of pedophile sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. If there was any doubt, just look at what happened today. As Adelita prepared to be sworn in, the White House was working the phones, desperately trying to get a Republican to remove their name from the discharge petition. But they cannot stop the truth from coming out. Now that Adelita is here, we will ensure these files see the light of day and that justice is served. And let me close by saying how excited I am to work with Adelita. She is a strong voice for working people and will be an invaluable member of Congress. Me siento sumamente orgullosa de darle la bienvenida a Adelita Grijalva aquí y sobre todo exponer la conducta a lo mejor ilegal del Speaker de la Cámara de no haberla juramentado simplemente porque el presidente Donald Trump se lo ha pedido, porque él sabe que esa firma de Adelita hoy en el discharge petition le va a crear problemas y va a revelar la verdad. El pueblo de los Estados Unidos se merece la verdad y tener acceso a ese informe como él se había comprometido. And now it is my pleasure to invite CAC Whip Sylvia Garcia.
Thank you, and thank you to the chair, thank you to our caucus chair, and thank you, muchísimas gracias, to the people of Arizona in sending us Adelita to Congress. You know, you said it in your remarks, which were excellent remarks, that eres la primera, pero no eres la última. And you're absolutely correct, because I know that there will be many others to follow you, because your record is there, your father's legacy is there, and we know the good people that come from Arizona. So muchísimas gracias. Thank you for joining us. You know, when I think about it, I mean, who would really want to mess with somebody named Adelita? I mean, not only is it a great name, but it stands for warriors and fighters. And that's what she is. I looked at her when she was getting sworn in. I mean, imagine the courage that she has, the determination, the patience, the stamina, the grace. I've watched her. She's been doing all this with all this pressure, with great grace. And 7 weeks is a long time to have to wait. And it is just shameful that the speaker wouldn't do his job, because that's what it boils down to. He had no respect for the voters of Arizona. He was about bending the knee to the wishes of the felon in the White House to protect that felon and other felons and pedophiles that may be implicated through the Epstein files. But you know what? It took a Latina con cojones to do it. Because she is not only making history, as she said, la primera, pero no la última. That's history. She's the first Latina coming from Arizona. As one of two first Latinas coming from Texas, welcome, girl. So that's history already. And now she's waited for 50 days. Again, history, the longest that someone's had to ever wait in the United States Congress to be sworn in. That's shameful history on the part of Speaker Johnson, but it's history nonetheless. Now she's making history again, because her first action was to go there and sign that petition. And if we force that vote, it will be a historic vote, because we will be making something that many people try to hide, many people wanted to avoid, many excuses were made. But for this one strong Latina with courage, it would not have happened. So today we, as our caucus chair mentioned, the Oversight Committee has given us more emails that implicate the felon in the White House even more. And I'm very hopeful that we will get a vote, and that we will get justice for all those victims, and that we will put an end to some of the predatory practices of not only all those implicated in the Epstein files, but others who may have also exhibited that conduct, because it's just wrong. But let's all remember that it took our Adelita to ensure that justice would be done for all those victims. With that, I yield back, and we ask our Comps Vice Chair, Norma Torres from California, to come up next. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Espaillat. Thank you, Caucus Chairman Pete Aguilar, for your leadership in bringing all of us together here. Today is a very powerful day for democracy, for representation, but most of all for me, it's a powerful day for Latinas in Congress. Latinas who have to fight twice as hard to simply be heard. Since the 19th Amendment, women have had to fight to keep our seat at the table. For Latinas, that fight is relentless. We work twice as hard, we push twice as far, and they will stop at nothing to take what is ours. Under this administration and Republican majority, those attacks have only doubled down. They want power over everything, and they target women without shame. After more than 7 weeks of delay, Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva has finally taken the seat that she rightfully earned on the floor of the United States Congress, representing the people of Arizona's 7th District. But we will not forget that for all of these weeks, she has had to work without staff, without the office equipment, without the security support that is afforded to every other member of Congress. Her swearing in, she becomes the 218th signatory on the Epstein, the e-file petition, a fight for both transparency and women's voices. She will never back down, and neither are we. She brings roots, courage, and the fearlessness to stand her ground even though her position had been denied. We are so honored to welcome Adelita to the rank and file membership of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and the big and powerful Democratic Caucus. We will too earn our majority in the next election. Hoy es un día muy importante e histórico para la democracia, para la representación y para cada latina que ha tenido que luchar el doble para ser escuchada. Después de más de 7 semanas de demora, la congresista Adelita Grijalva finalmente ocupa el escaño que le pertenece. Con su juramento, se convierte en firmemente el número 218 en la lista para dar los archivos del Epstein. Una lucha para transparencia y por la voz de todas las mujeres. Adelita nunca se rindió. Bienvenida al Congreso, congresista Grijalva, y estamos muy contentos con tu decisión de seguir trabajando y luchando.
Muchas gracias.
And now I would like to welcome, Vice Chair Andrea Salinas.
Good afternoon, and I want to thank the Congressional Hispanic Caucus and our chair, Congressman Aguilar. And first off, felicidades to Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, familia, sus hijos. For more than 2 months, Mike Johnson delayed, denied, and lied to avoid swearing in Congresswoman Grijalva. For Speaker Johnson, it was about silence. This was about silencing Congresswoman Grijalva. This was about silencing hundreds of thousands of Arizonans, robbing them of their voice in Congress. And this was about silencing the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, all to protect Donald Trump. However, let Congresswoman Grijalva's swearing in be a lesson to all of us. She, her, constituents, and the victims will not be silenced. Ultimately, justice will prevail, and the truth will come to light. That is what today is about. But this victory also serves as a warning. What lengths will Mike Johnson and Republicans go to deny the people their voice and strip Democrats of their power? So while we should celebrate today as a victory for the Congresswoman, her constituents, her family, and the victims, we must not ignore what Republicans are willing to do to cling to power and to hide from inconvenient truths. Again, felicidades y bienvenidos. And next, I would like to welcome Congresswoman Emily Randall from the great state of Washington.
It's about time. Congratulations to my colleague, Congresswoman Grijalva. I know that you are going to represent Arizona's 7th District and our nation so admirably, because you already have. For the last 50 days, Congresswoman Grijalva has had to fight harder than any member of Congress before to do her constitutional duty, to be seated after she was duly elected, to represent her constituents even when she isn't able to pay staff, to hire folks, to get set up. Her neighbors deserve her to be well supported in this job. Her neighbors deserved her to be able to do her constitutional duty sooner. But she wasted no time, not only in working hard these last 50 days, but in taking up the pen immediately after she was sworn in to be the 218th signature on the discharge petition to release the Epstein files. As a member of the House Oversight Committee, I'm appalled that Speaker Johnson and House Republicans would have prevented the proper representation of Arizona's 7th in order to prevent the release of the Epstein files by shutting down the entire government for 43 days, avoiding transparency, avoiding accountability, and keeping secrets for the president. 43 days too long. Congresswoman Grijalva finally being sworn in means so much for her constituents. The end of her constituents' taxation without representation, and her neighbors finally having a voice in government. But it also means so much for the voices of the survivors, women and girls who were trafficked and assaulted, who are finally going to have their stories told in the light. My colleagues and I on the House Oversight Committee and the larger Democratic caucus will keep fighting to make sure these files are released. Thank you to Congresswoman Grijalva for doing your duty, and I'm so honored to serve with you. I would now like to pass the microphone back to our chairman, Congressman Espaillat.
Thank you. We've heard from the powerful voices of the women of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. And it is not by coincidence or by chance that you have heard from them today, because Latino women in our community are the center, the spinal cord of our families. They are unafraid, and they are strong voices that lead our families, our children, and they lead men. And so, of course, we're here with them today, and we have listened to their points of view on this issue of the Epstein files. And I'm sure all of us have had una abuelita o una madre que siempre decía, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are. And so we heard Adelita today on the floor. She was sworn in. Speak truth to power, unafraid. I don't think anyone here could say that she feared anyone on that floor. And she spoke eloquently, decisively. She waited for weeks to say that message, that important message, as she was sworn in and just before she signed that petition. So we have her with us today. Bienvenida, Adelita Grijalva.
Thank you all. Thank you to the Congressional Hispanic Caucus for organizing this. Thank you for all of you for standing by me during the last 50 days. 50 days is a very long time. And, you know, standing through the last few weeks, through this obstruction in my swearing in, and as Latinas, Arizona's first Latina, Chicana member of Congress. Today is a historic day for Southern Arizona, for women, for Chicanos and Chicanas everywhere We shattered the glass ceiling together. And I'm grateful to my community and to the leaders who paved the way. But this historic moment comes with a sober reality. My swearing in was delayed by 50 days, the longest in modern history. And let's understand very clearly that if I were a Republican, I would not have waited this long. If I were a man, I would not have waited this long. We all know that the rules are always different for women of color and people of color. And we have to fight against that. There is no way that this can ever happen again to anyone at all. We're going to push forward bipartisan legislation to ensure it, because we cannot allow this to happen to anybody again. For one individual to be able to silence 800,000 people, it's unconscionable. Es grosero. It's just not okay. And so, you know, but this representation is so important. It's important to me as the daughter of Congressman Grijalva, who served our community for 50 years total, 22 years in Congress. People in our community know what it's like to depend on a Grijalva. And for us to not have that representation was painful. But worse, and adding insult to injury, is when Speaker Johnson would placate and make misogynistic comments about what I should and should not be doing. They all know better than I do. If you don't have a budget, you can't do anything. And that's the situation that I've been in for the last 50 days. And so Speaker Johnson purposefully obstructed my swearing in by canceling vote after vote. And the Epstein Files discharge petition sat one signature short. With my signing, we move one step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve their day of justice, and the American people demand it. We also stand on the eve of another vote that shows how little Republicans understand working families. They've already passed a bill stripping health insurance from more than 15 million people. Now they're pushing one that will send premiums skyrocketing for 22 million more. These attacks fall hardest on vulnerable communities, especially Latino children, who rely on Medicaid and CHIP because their parents work jobs without employer-provided coverage. But the Congressional Hispanic Caucus understands what's at stake, and we will stand together to defend families, protect our democracy, and demand accountability from those who abuse power. And finally, my overwhelming election in Arizona sends a clear message. This nation, built by immigrants, strengthened by diversity, will choose hope over hate and leadership over chaos every time. We are here to build, not tear down, our shared future. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Preguntas, questions? Yes?
Okay.
¿Qué significa para usted asumir este cargo en este momento después de que usted fue elegida hace 50 días y ahora?
Es una responsabilidad muy grande y lo voy a hacer con todo mi poder, mi corazón y ganas de hacer trabajo muy bien por el sur de Arizona. No debía de esperar tanto tiempo. Nadie debe de esperar tanto tiempo a poder representar y presumir el posición donde estaba elegida por casi 70% del voto. So, me siento, pues tengo muchas emociones ahorita. Más que nada, me siento muy emocionada a poder al fin representar el sur de Arizona.
Any other questions? Yes?
Thank you so much. Democrats continue to say that it's Republicans who are keeping the Epstein files hidden, but Congressman Tim Burchett is just reporting that he tried to bring a release of the Epstein files to the floor immediately, and Democrats blocked it. Do you have any insight as to what happened there and why?
What was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think it's incredibly clear that Republicans will stop at nothing to avoid the disclosure of this information. So what that means is 218 signatures were reached despite White House efforts, even at the 11th hour, to summon people down to the White House to try to get them to remove their signatures, those members said no. And so our rules indicate at 218, members get a vote. And so that's what we're looking forward to. We're not looking for people to avoid taking a vote on this, and that's what that effort was. That is a weak effort to try to allow Republicans to pass this measure without being accountable and showing whether they support this or not. So let's call the vote. The discharge process has its rules. Let's bring the question up. Nothing prevents the speaker from bringing this up tomorrow if he wanted it done. But if he drags it out, and if the will of those, that bipartisan coalition holds, we will have this before us in a couple weeks. But we're interested in every member in this chamber putting their vote up, either yes or a no. And then we'll see what happens from there.
The back?
Really? It's been a minute. We've been waiting for a little while. It's a little surreal, I have to say. It is. I'd like people keep asking me how I feel, and honestly, maybe I'll have a better answer tomorrow. But right now, we've waited so long that, you know, I'm looking at my kids and my mom and my husband, and they're all looking at us like, what does that feel like? I'm like, I have no idea. And if you ask them, they'll probably say the same thing. I think that, you know, I've been correcting people for so long. Like they'd say Congresswoman, I'm like, no, it's elect. So now when I don't have to say that, I guess I'm very humbled and very honored to represent Southern Arizona. It's a beautiful community that deserves full representation. And what we've been able to provide them is just a little bit of a piecemeal. And so truly being able to serve the people of this beautifully diverse community is going to be really incredible. I'm very excited about it.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, my mom is wearing my. I feel like you're about to take a photo.